My friends, they have been heavily impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Dormitories were shutting down, students were being pushed out. And so it was just a huge mixture of uncertainty and fear, of trying to figure out where can I live, where can I stay, how can I support myself. Even though I do have a home, just for my friends to have to, sleep in their cars or sleep at a homeless shelter that's packed and full in the middle of a pandemic.
In trying to access housing, I often don't know what information I'm able to give or not regarding my identity as a trans woman. And that goes beyond housing, that goes to getting medical services, that goes to employment, any place where I'm looking to power for my needs.
It starts with just the housing application process. Only having like M and F as options on a form are definitely limiting for me. Kind of like always having to, like, from housing situation to the next one, like explaining that I don't fit within those kind of like gender binary systems.
And I think even when we were recently finding housing, I just told my roommates, I was like, we're already in such a predicament. You can just use she, her for me, because I don't want the landlords being like, who are these weird Black people that like refer to themselves plurally with they.
When I ran away from home, I didn't have anyone to take care of me. I was 15 when I ran away. I stayed with my cousins for a couple years and my aunt, and then by the time I was 17, I was completely on the streets, living in different homes and homes, so I was a streetwalker. Times have changed, and I started seeing trans women getting jobs and things like that, and that's what I wanted to do, but I was working at places that were treating me nasty.
Stable living would be life-changing for me. Having a place, sorry, it's like really personal.
So the American dream is to like have a house with like a picket fence, which isn't always something like within reach for trans community, specifically Black trans folks, because your Blackness and transness like compounds into this new unique struggle. Access to inclusive housing, where I feel like I don't have to, act certain ways that I'm not, just to make sure that I'm safe, would be life-changing.
There's always that barrier of, them not knowing your gender or them asking questions about gender and you not qualifying for some places because they don't see you as your identity. And it's terrifying to have to go through that experience.
And for that reason, I do feel like opportunities to a degree are limited for me, because I can't just walk into any place of employment and feel like I'll be accepted, feel like I won't be targeted, feel like I'll have a place there.
Finding community has been difficult, and it is still difficult.
I don't quite think that there's a community space for Black trans people, and that's an issue. Because queer-friendly and trans-friendly spaces that exist in Austin don't have Black trans people on leadership. And if they do have maybe one or two people from the Black trans community in that leadership, it's like pro bono or low bono stuff, which further perpetuates harmful outcomes for Black trans people. Because if we can't eat, then we can't advocate and all of these other things.
What would a safe space look like for me being trans here in Austin? I haven't really seen it yet.
I don't want to feel like I have to work or have to get a hammer and a chisel to break a wall to be invited into a community. Because I feel like that's what it is nowadays. We have to fight to be in a community, and that shouldn't be the case.
Getting to a place in society where trans people don't have to do all of that extra work in order to get the adequate care that they need would be ideal. Being Black and trans especially doesn't give you very many options. Kind of almost doesn't give you the right or the opportunity to be in crisis, because you can't call the cops, right? Because Blackness. And they don't know how to respond to mental health situations adequately. You can't go to churches a lot of the times because oftentimes religion is seen as a justification to treat people as lesser than. You can't go to certain clinics. But in a crisis situation, folks that are cisgender, folks that are not queer, don't have to even think about those things.
Knowing there's an organization in the city that's working to serve trans people specifically, and I'll say even more specifically, Black trans people, would be reassuring to me because I can get help from people that understand what I'm going through, and the people that I care about most can also get the support that they deserve.
A lot of friends that I know or people that I know personally that have been struggling with having access to hormones or surgeries, I think that they could benefit so much because it wouldn't be a struggle.
It's a level of education that needs to be there for our community. It's a level of acceptance and ability to thrive financially that we need from our representatives as well.
Having a community or an organization working to make sure that they know that they have our back would make life so much better.
In the words of Fannie Lou Hamer, nobody's free until everybody's free.
This is what I need.
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 This is what we need.
This is what I've been needing though.